Stan was a warrior, tall, strong, and brave, and he found himself on a huge battlefield, and he raised his sword high into the air, but now he had had enough of all of the fighting, and he gave away his sword and his spear and his shield, and he decided that he would go away from this battlefield and go and see his father, his mother, his sister, his brother back in the family house. He knew that with the war, that the family home would be a wrecked house. But he didn't care. He turned around and walked away from that battlefield. When he came close to where there was a tall tree, he rested his back against the tree, and the rain came down and he fell fast asleep, knowing that he was only one day's journey from his own home. But that night the rain fell, and the next morning the sun came up, and on top of that great bridge he saw that there was a rainbow that held every colour of the rain, and the bow that was there so beautiful to behold. But he thought that it was the sun shining on the water. But when he got closer, he saw that there was a great dragon, and he was frightened. But he placed his foot on top of its red scaly head and walked the length of its tail, and when he came to the tip of its tail, it turned around and said, "Here, Stan! You must come now down to the bottom of the deep dark sea and kill the fire monster that eats my wives and my children." He floated out on a shell right by the side of the king of the dragons, and down and down and down it went underneath the sea until it came to where there was a great cave. And the dragon flew for 3 days and 3 nights and came to where there was an enormous white castle. The king of the dragons said, "Here, Stan, I will give you not 1, not 2, but 3 thick, strong arrows." And he stood him beside the great golden gates at the front of the enormous white castle, and he gave him an arrow that was made out of gold, and an arrow that was made out of silver, and an arrow that was made out of copper. And it was then that Stan heard thump, thump, thump. And in the distance he saw a huge fiery monster with grey fire for its eyes, huge red smoke for its mouth, and a body that was made out of gold and smoke and fire, and 100 tree trunk legs that thumped and thumped upon the ground. Stan took the golden arrow and fired it through the air, and it just bounced off the skin of the fire monster. And he took the silver arrow and let it fly through the air, and it bounced right off the top of its head. It was only when he took the copper arrow and pulled it up, and it caught at his thumb, and 1, 2, 3 drops of blood went on the tip of the copper arrow, and he fired it through the air, and it went straight between that fire monster's eyes. And still he heard the thump, thump, thump. The king of the dragons was smiling at Stan, and Stan looked, and he heard crash, 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 and all of the legs of that great fire monster were falling down and made a huge fire, and that was all that was left. The king of the dragons was very grateful to this man who walked upon 2 legs, and he gave him a bag of rice. Stan looked. A bag of rice? Is that all that I get? But he wanted to see his father, his mother, his sister, his brother in the family's wrecked house. And he was taken along that great cave. And when he reached the bottom of the sea, he held his breath, and up and up and up he went. And he felt as if he would not be able to live. But when he got to the top of the water, his family all crowded about him and said, Stan, Stan, where have you been?" And he told of how he had fought in the battle. He told of how he had met the king of the dragons. He told of how he had slain that fire monster. And all he had got was a bag of rice. But it was fat and round and magical. For when he placed his hand inside of the bag of rice to cook some, the bag was still full. And whenever he took rice out of the bag, it never emptied. And from that time, if anyone was hungry, all they had to do was come to Stan, and he would give them rice to eat, to fill their bellies. And he was known from that time as the Lord of the Bag of Rice.
The tall boy had bright eyes and was very talkative. He talked about the snow every day. He thinks he is funny talking about the snow in silly ways. He met a very strange animal he had never seen before, and he said, "This animal is the same color as the snow," said the boy. The animal said to the boy, "I am a polar bear," he said, "and isn't it frosty outside today?" "Yes," said the boy.
There was a tall, nasty, rich woman out in the cold white soft snow. She looked confused because she didn't know why the handsome, tall, kind man was so happy, and she fell in love with him.
It was a boy. He was tall and strong. He was stuck in the snow. He was funny at jokes. The snow was very deep up to his shin. It was a fluffy dog, and it was tall and slim. The bright sun shined it never before.
Were a slim, tall, and has long hair woman, and the woman didn't like the frost snow in the park, and the woman didn't like the frost snow in the park because the snow was too cold, and the kind, selfish boy was kind to his mom, but was selfish with his friends. He was in the lark busy park. He met a small old man in the hard, icy snow.
The tall boy had bright eyes and was very talkative. He talked about the snow every day. He thought it was funny talking about the snow in silly ways. He met a very strange animal he had never seen before, and he said, "This animal is the same colour as the snow." The animal said to the boy, "I am a polar bear, and isn't it frosty out today?" "Yes," said the boy. The boy was very sad when he had to go home and leave his new friend, but then he said goodbye, Snowy Stephen, and Snowy Stephen got out of the snow. The boy noticed that this polar bear had his front paws pink and his back paws purple. Once there was a girl who was very unhappy. She had some sweets, and she did not like it, and it was a cold day. She was joyful because her mum was calling her back to her, and on this day she saw a strange animal with her mum. "Oh no, it's snowing!" And so it was. It was so cold in the snow, and the sky was overcast, and she began to cry because she didn't like the snow. There was a tall, nasty, rich woman out in the cold, white, soft snow. She looked confused because she didn't know why the handsome, tall, kind man was so happy, and she fell in love with the man. So she became, and she shared out the money with everyone and the poor, and she got married with him. But one day they had a disagreement as if they were going to go to London or USA. So they went to London this summer, and the next summer they will go to the USA. The sad, kind, selfish boy was kind to his mom, but he was selfish with his friends. He was in the large, busy park. He met a small old man in the hard, icy snow. When the strong old man met the boy, he didn't know what to say. This is a story, and it was a boy. He was tall and strong. He was stuck in the snow. He was funny at jokes, and the snow was very deep, right up to his shin. There was a fluffy dog, and it was tall and slim, and the bright sun shone like never before. There was a lovely, kind, bright-eyed girl walking down the dark street to her best friend, and she asked her friend to come to the North Pole with her, and her mum and her dad. She was unhappy because her mum and dad said no. There was a slim, black, tall girl who had long hair, and the woman didn't like the frosty snow in the park, and the woman didn't like the frosty snow at all because the snow was too cold, and the woman saw a kind, strong, happy girl, and the girl liked the snow and liked the woman, and it was here white and the snow was slippery, and the girl was sad because now she saw that the snow was melting. The short yellow giraffe was sad because it was an overcast day. It was a grey overcast day, and he decides to go for a long walk. He meets a strange old woman who was carrying a baby because it had started to snow. The strange old woman thought this was very funny, and she was laughing because she didn't know what was happening. The short giraffe continued on his walk and met a small kind boy who gives people sweet icy cold water to drink that comes from the white frosty North Pole. Ellie the elephant lived in Egypt. She loved to exercise, eat and enjoy everything that she did. She was extremely enormous and extraordinary. She used to bounce up and down on a trampoline. She used to love the sound that it made like an elastic band. Her eyes were as big as eggs, and she realised that if she loved to exercise, eat and enjoy enormous exercise, then perhaps she could give some energy to Ethiopia and be the biggest bouncing elephant that would be an engine for the earth. Freddy the Frog was French and lived in France. He would fry and fly and fight with anyone that he could. But with all of the fried food that he ate, he became fat and frightened when he really wanted to be friendly. There was a fish who was a fan of football, made him put down his fork and made him play football with him. So Freddy the Fat Frog from France, when he played football with a fish, soon became very friendly and a fan of football, and would more than likely not fight, but enjoy to go flying when he wasn't so heavy and not eat so much with a fork in France. Catherine the kangaroo could always be caught in the kitchen. She would kick and kneel and knit, but she was kind. She had all sorts of different kinds of kit inside of her great kitchen. She would keep things. She had kites and knives, and she thought that this kitchen was her kingdom. But one day she decided that she would go out and she would play with her kite. But she played with the kite, and as it went higher, she thought that she would stroke the string with a knife. And the kite, it snapped and went to the kingdom of a king and a knight who had never seen a kite before. So they kept it. They kept the kite. That king and the knight kept the kite in Kenya. Sophie was a Spanish snail. She could sing and stand, swim on the so smooth water. Sophie was a Spanish snail. She could sing and stand and swim in the smooth sea. But it was really sometimes when she saw that there was a scaly, slimy, slow thing swimming in the water. Sophie put on a skirt to go to school, but as she looked at the sky, she didn't look at the sand. Soon she was turned into spaghetti by some Spaniards who'd been looking at Saturn. They cooked her with some squid in squares and slurped up that snaily spaghetti. There was a girl who was tall and happy with long white hair. She was at the top of Mount Everest. It was dusty and the sun was shining through the clouds. But in the distance she looked and she saw the North Pole. The North Pole that was filled with water, that was frosty and that would freeze you. But she looked and could see that it was a crowded place. She stretched her arms out and she tried to fly, and in the hard cold wind she was picked up and taken all the way. And as she landed, she saw the boy, who was very sad. As soon as she landed, she tried to fight with him. He tried to fight with her, and in her heart she was just so sad. This dog was so small, but fast and thin. Under the sea, it could see the huge warm water filled with large fish. But sometimes it was so cold as to make you into a statue. The dog was frightened, the dog was confused. But the dog was magic, because sometimes it was blind, and sometimes it could see. But then it saw a woman who was large and slim, and he could feel that she was reading his mind.
There was a happy, nasty, beautiful girl who lived in a place that was 1,000 degrees below centigrade. It was snowy and slippery and very cold. In this place where she lived was a funny, sparkling and very noisy castle. And the girl was looking for her long-lost brother. She'd put a broadcast out on the radio, and hundreds of boys arrived at the castle through the tall archway. What was confusing, as they walked through the archway, they all changed into girls. And then
The alphabet. A, E, B, B, K, C, D, D, E, E, F, F, G, G, H, H, I, J, J, K, K, L, L, M, M, N, N, O, O, P, P, Q, Q, R, R, S, S, T, T, U, V, V, W, W, X, X, Y, Y, Z, Z. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Now I've sung my ABC, won't you sing along with me? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, said, now I've sung my ABC, won't you sing along with me? A household alphabet. A. Apple. B. Bath. C. Cup. D. Dish. E. Egg. F. Fridge. G. Green. H. Hand. I. Ice. J. Jug. K. Knife. L. Loaf. M. Money. N. Nose. O. Oven. P. Pan. Qu. Quilt. R. Red. S. Stairs. T. Toilet. A. Umbrella. V. Violet. W. White. X. X-ray. Y. Yellow. Z. Zip. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. A school alphabet. A. Armchair. B. Books. C. Cupboard. D. Door. E. Eraser. F. Flowers. G. Gold star. H. House group. I. Inspiration. J. Jigsaw. K. Kite. L. Light. M. Marker. numbers. Office. Paper. Quiet. Radiator. Switch. Table. Uniform. Violin. Whiteboard. Exit. You. Zebra crossing. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Now I've sung my ABC, won't you sing along with me? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Now I've sung my ABC, won't you sing along with me? The alphabet. A, E, B, B, K, C, D, D, E, E, F, F, G, G, H, H, I, J, J, K, L, L, M, M, N, N, O, P, P, Q, Q, R, R, S, S, T, T, U, V, V, W, W, X, X, Y, Y, Z, Z.